Everything you need to know about Comey and his history. What follows is a compilation found on Reddit under the title Everything You Need to Know About Comey and His History, by Political Anon. The post gives a well-sourced overview of the past, present and projecting into the future of the current political drama taking place in America. Discern this in all information.
Begin the original post.
There are very few crime/mystery novels that approach this true story for compelling drama, intrigue and brinkmanship with the nation in the balance. Don't believe the fake media story that Trump made a mistake or huge gaffe by firing Comey. Don't believe the media narrative from the left that it was an attempt to silence Comey from some investigation into Trump. Don't believe the Republican and name-only narrative that Comey is a good guy just trying to do his job in terrible circumstances and the timing was bad. Don't believe the lie that Comey was admired and respected by career FBI investigators and agents. Don't believe the lie that Trump's tweets are not professional and have no strategic purpose. His tweets are weaponized and deadly. James Comey is a poisonous snake of the highest order. A deep-water swamp denizen who has been highly paid to deliberately provide cover for high-level corruption by the Clintons and Obama. He has been central to trying to destroy the Trump campaign and then the Trump administration from the start. He is as dirty as they come in D.C. He had highest-level cover, the FBI no less, and was deep into an effort to eliminate Trump. Trump had to move hard, fast, and at exactly the right time to cut the head off the snake without getting bitten by the snake or being finished by the other swamp denizens.
Begin by noticing how the president fired Comey when Comey was 3,000 miles away from his office, that Comey had no inkling he was being cut, that all his files, computers, and everything in his office were seized by his boss Sessions and the Justice Department. This was not a violation of protocol, it was tactical. Notice how Pres Trump compartmentalized the strike and did not inform any of his White House staff to prevent leaks. Notice how he emasculated Comey and the swamp denizens by letting them know in a tweet that the Attorney General got information, surveillance tapes, from the seizure of Comey's office, to let Comey and his handlers know that Trump's DOJ has the goods on them. This was a brilliant, strategic and totally imperative move at exactly the right time against horrible, evil and corrupt powers infesting our government. The swamp is on notice that the president is on to them. They are sweating bullets because their criminal games of corruption are being pursued and they know it. They are screaming and ranting because they are desperate denizens of the swamp who are beginning to realize they are roadkill. This is what you need to know about the Comey scam.
Taken from credible public sources, readily available if you want to look or want me to send them to you, with a few reasonable fill-in-the-blank conclusions of my own. The highlights. Comey was a minor assistant U.S. attorney in the late 90s. He only gained power and money by being the DOJ official who investigated and cleared Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing and Clinton's totally corrupt pardon for huge payoffs of criminal financier Mark Rich as Clinton was leaving the presidency. This is how Comey began his career as a creature of the swamp years ago, as a servant of the Clintons. Comey provided cover for the Clintons and their gaining incredible power and wealth after leaving office through pardoning a billionaire money launderer, arms dealer and criminal. Comey was a key piece in how the Clintons upped their corruption game and gained incredible wealth through their foundation after leaving the White House. A huge part of the scheme was giving Mark Rich a free pass when he should have spent life in prison, and that is what Comey covered up for the Clintons. This set up Comey to be part of the corruption machine, making him powerful and wealthy. Immediately after doing the Clintons' dirty work as a DOJ official, Comey resigned from the DOJ and took a position as the head attorney counsel of the Lockheed Martin Company, a huge military contractor. While he was in that position, Lockheed became a major contributor, millions, to the Clinton Foundation and its fake charity spin-offs. In return for these payments to Clinton Incorporated, Lockheed received huge contracts with Hillary's State Department. Comey was the chief legal officer of Lockheed throughout this period of contributions to Clinton Incorporated in return for State Department contracts. In late 2012, after overseeing Lockheed's successful relationship with the Hillary State Department and the resulting profits, Comey stepped down from Lockheed and received a $6 million payout for his services. In 2013, the largest Bank of England, HSBC Holdings, was deep into a scandal. Investigations by federal authorities and law enforcement had revealed that for years HSBC had been laundering billions of dollars for Mexican drug cartels, channeling money for Saudi banks who were financing terror, moving money for Iran in violation of the sanctions, and other major criminal activity. HSBC's criminality was pervasive and deliberate by the bank and its officials. HSBC was a huge Clinton Foundation contributor, many millions, throughout the investigation, and Bill Clinton was being paid large personal fees for speaking at HSBC events, while Hillary was seconds of state. Eric Holder and the Obama Justice Department did what they were paid to do, and let HSBC off of the hook for a paltry $1.2 billion fine paid by its stockholders, and not one director, officer or management member at HSBC was fired or charged with any criminal. Exactly when everyone involved with HSBC Bank, including the Clintons and all of their donors, were being let off without penalty, and cover had to be provided to HSBC, Comey was appointed as a director and member of the board of HSBC in the middle of the fallout from the scandal. He was part of the effort to cover up the scandal and make HSBC respectable again. After about a year as HSBC director, despite his lack of any law enforcement experience, no DOJ leadership experience, and no qualifications for the job, Comey was appointed FBI director by Obama. The only qualification Comey had was that the Clintons and their cronies knew Comey was in bed with them, was compromised and was willing to do their dirty work. Comey was appointed to the FBI right when Hillary was leaving the State Department, and was vulnerable to the FBI because she had been using a private server, mishandling classified information, selling access to favors/contracts from the State Department to Clinton Foundation donors, including Comey's Lockheed Martin, and much more. Remember that this was about the time the Inspector General of the State Department found over $2 billion missing from the State Department finances during Hillary's tenure. The obvious conclusion is that Comey was appointed to the FBI along with other reliable Clinton-Obama cronies to run interference for the Clintons and Obamas at the nation's federal law enforcement agency in conjunction with a corrupt Department of Justice. Comey was and is owned by the Clintons. He owed all of his power and wealth to being part of their machine and providing them with cover. In late 2015 and early 2016, information began to come out about the Clinton Foundation and its use by the Clintons as a multi-billion-dollar slush fund for corruption and political favors. Even Chelsea's wedding had been paid for by the charity. This was right as Hillary was beginning her campaign for president. It was revealed that the foundation had never completed required reports or had an audit. Supposedly the FBI, under Comey, began an investigation of the Clinton funds. A professional accounting firm was brought in by the Clintons to do a review, file some reports, make recommendations to the Clinton Foundation board, and provide a veneer of legitimacy to the Clinton fund operations. Predictably, one of the partners in the firm that was chosen and paid lots of money is the brother of James Comey, FBI director. This brother owes James Comey $700,000 for a loan James gave him to buy a house, and presumably some of the money from the Clinton fund was used to make payments to James on the loan. Over 2 years later and nothing has happened as a result of the FBI investigating the Clinton funds onto Comey. No one in Congress or federal law enforcement was intending to actually pursue the Clintons, but Judicial Watch and other independent sources obtained information proving that Hillary had been running her own server, sending out classified information, etc. This information began to come out right in the middle of her campaign to be coronated as president. A show investigation had to be performed to appear to look into it and clear her. Who to use? The reliable shill James Comey. As head of the FBI, Comey and his lackeys in key positions deliberately screwed up the investigation into Hillary's use of a private server and her plain violation of national security law on classified information. The investigation was deliberately mishandled in every aspect. Comey gave immunity to all of Hillary's lackeys. He did not use subpoenas or warrants as arrest. He lost evidence. He allowed the destruction of evidence. He failed to do any searches or seizures of evidence. He did not use a grand jury. He did not swear witnesses. He did not record testimony. He allowed attorneys to represent multiple suspects, corrupting the testimony. My note: around the time/after this op was made, it was revealed a grand jury and subpoenas were used, but I have no idea in what manner, as I haven't researched fully. We know some people were issued subpoenas, but I don't know the extent and who was and wasn't served. Grand jury info just came out April/May 2017. Everything that could be done to ruin the FBI investigation and to cover for Hillary was done. A slam dunk case became a mess. Immunity was given every witness even though they provided no help. Maybe more importantly, by focusing the FBI on the email scandal, attention was drawn away from the much bigger scandal of the Clinton Foundation that could bring down a huge number of corrupt politicians, lobbyists, and even governments. Originally, Comey's job was simply to totally botch the Hillary investigation and ruin the case against her and her minions within the FBI regarding the emails. At the same time, Comey also started work on the parallel assignment to illegally wiretap and surveil Donald Trump and every other person involved in the Republican campaign. He was tasked with digging up any dirt or fact that could be used to hurt the Trump campaign later. This included using a fake dossier paid for by the Clinton campaign to obtain authorization for the surveillance and to try to associate Trump's campaign with the Russians. Under Comey's direction, the Trump/Republican campaign was monitored and surveilled, and all information was provided to the Obama White House and the Clinton camp all during the campaign. Loretta Lynch was supposed to complete the cover-up for Hillary as Attorney General by issuing a finding that the deliberately botched FBI investigation did not justify prosecution of Hillary. But someone screwed up and Bill Clinton was videoed meeting with Loretta Lynch in Arizona shortly before she was supposed to make her decision on Hillary interference with a federal investigation, and Lynch could no longer credibly squash the Hillary scandal. The solution: give the job to James. The Clintons owned him and he would have to do whatever is necessary to provide cover. Comey goes on national TV and violates every rule of the FBI, the Justice Department and American law enforcement by revealing some of the FBI's evidence of what Hillary did, enough to make it look like the FBI and Comey did some investigation, then declaring that there was no intent and clearing Hillary. He did what he was ordered to do. The Justice Department and Obama backed Comey's cover-up, and it looked like Hillary had survived the scandal. Then, right before the election, the NYPD obtained pervert Anthony Weiner's laptop and found classified emails from Hillary on the laptop. The NYPD began leaking details to new media outlets, and the story was about to explode. Comey once again stepped in to cover Hillary. He short-circuited the NYPD leaks by publicly acknowledging the laptop and the emails, but then claimed just days later that hundreds of thousands of emails had all been reviewed and nothing new was on the laptop. Once again, he had done his job, providing cover and FBI protection for Hillary on the newest scandal when it broke. The surveillance of the Trump campaign is continued after he is elected. All participants are unmasked illegally, and the transcripts are leaked throughout the government and to the media. When General Flynn appropriately calls Russian officials on behalf of Trump, they brush off the old fake dossier and all of the surveillance of the campaign, and Comey creates the Russian conspiracy investigation. With help by Republican and name-only swamp kingpin and warmonger sellout McCain, the fake Russian dossier is leaked to the press. There is no actual evidence of any collusion or connection between Trump or his campaign with Russia, but that does not prevent Comey from initiating an investigation at the FBI. This provides Comey with protection from Trump firing him immediately. Comey or his minions constantly leak news of the Russia investigation to the media, and the media does its scripted part by screaming constantly about Russia. The Democrats fill their role and constantly scream about Russia. McCain and the Republican and name-only establishment do their part by promising to investigate how the Russians influenced the campaign. Immediately after Trump is sworn in, the DOJ Hillary/Obama operatives and Comey start the direct attack. This is before Sessions has been appointed to the Department of Justice, and the DOJ is still controlled by Obama operatives. DOJ Obama appointee Sally Yates approaches the White House with news that General Flynn had been in contact with Russia and alleges that he might be compromised. She reveals that there is an FBI investigation into the Russia ties, which they are constantly leaking to the media themselves. The White House counsel, who Yates talks to, not Trump, asks for some more information. This is a two-pronged attack. It protects Comey and DOJ Democrat holdovers from being terminated by the new administration because they are involved in an ongoing investigation that they control the timetable on, albeit one with absolutely no evidence. If Trump fires Comey, then he is interfering with the investigation, which is itself a federal crime that the FBI could then investigate. Alternatively, if they can get Trump to question Comey about Flynn, or try to get him to back off of Flynn or the Russia investigation, then they again have him interfering. Trump knows it is a setup by Comey and that he is probably being recorded, perhaps by tips from FBI or DOJ who are not part of the corruption. Maybe because his phone calls in the White House as president have already been bugged and released to the media. FBI is in the best position to do this. Maybe because he was used to the mafia in New York trying to shake him down every time he built a hotel. Comey tells Trump that Trump is not under investigation regarding Russia, but that others involved with the campaign are being investigated. Trump does not take the bait and attempt to intervene about Flynn or the Russia scam. Later, Flynn is cut loose because he is being used by Comey and the Obama hold of the justice to try to damage Trump. He did nothing wrong, but if he stayed, the charge of interfering with an investigation might seem to have teeth. Comey verbally tells Trump on 2 more occasions that he is not being investigated, but refuses to state this fact publicly or when testifying in Congress. Trump knows everything I have gone through above about Comey. But he has to move carefully. He has to get his Attorney General and Deputy AG in place, get enough leverage on the Russia narrative, and ideally get rid of Comey in a way that allows him to obtain all the information that Comey has been accumulating. If he is taping Trump, he's taping others. Comey and others testify in Congress. Under oath, both Sally Yates and intelligence officials from the Obama administration state that there has been no actual evidence of any collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. More importantly, Comey, while refusing to say that Trump is not under investigation, testifies that he has informed the Senate Intelligence Committee heads who exactly is under investigation regarding Russia. Trump tells almost no one at the White House that he is moving against Comey, so no leaks. No listening in on his conversations. Trump somehow contacts Senator Grassley, the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and confirms that Comey told the senator that Trump was not under investigation personally. Trump gets both the Attorney General and the new Deputy Attorney General to legitimately review Comey's unprofessional actions at the FBI and to recommend in writing that Trump terminate Comey. Somehow Comey goes to California at the request of AG Sessions or already scheduled and someone at FBI telling Trump. Trump seizes the moment and acts. While Comey is in California, 3,000 miles away and 7 hours from his office, Trump prepares a letter firing him with Sessions and the Deputy AG recommendations attached. In the letter, Trump states that he had been told 3 times by Comey that he, Trump, was not under investigation. The letter is hand-delivered to the FBI headquarters by DOJ officials to lock down and seize everything in Comey's office, including all surveillance files, tapes of Trump and others. All of Comey's files, docs, computers and tapes are taken to Sessions at DOJ. They are not taken to the White House or Trump, but to Sessions, who has every right to have them. Sessions can tell Trump that Comey had surveillance tapes of Trump that contradict what Comey has been telling Trump, and perhaps tapes of conversations with other swamp conspirators. But Trump does not have them personally or at the White House. Comey learns he has been fired when the media broadcasts it in California. He had no idea it was coming and he is ticked. On cue, the Democrat politicians and media begin screaming about Trump's interference with the Russia investigation in accordance with the plan to set up Trump for that charge. The swamp wants to blow up the Russia narrative using Comey, and Comey is set to testify before Congress to try to hurt Trump by saying he was interfering with the FBI investigation. Comey intends to follow through with the plan to take down Trump. But because of his brilliant timing on this, Trump has Comey's files, documents and information safely with Sessions at DOJ. Trump sends out a crazy tweet that says, "James Comey better hope that there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press." The media and the politicians go crazy about the inappropriateness of this tweet. They accuse Trump of taping everyone at the White House, forgetting that the president's phone calls with foreign leaders have been taped without his knowledge. Notice that Trump did not say he taped anyone, or that he has any tapes at the White House. It seems apparent that Trump is telling Comey that the DOJ, who has every legal right to possess it, has the surveillance information and files from Comey's office, the tapes obtained and kept by Comey. Comey and all the swamp creatures understand the clear message. Their plan has failed and Trump's DOJ is now holding all the cards. The whole Russia interference scheme crashes and burns. While the mouthpiece media, Hollywood and the insane French continue to scream about Russia and Comey being fired, the politicians who will soon be in the crosshairs of a legitimate and ticked FBI and DOJ are starting to fall strangely silent. Comey realizes all the leverage is with Trump and that he will be lucky if he is not added to the Clinton death list because of his knowledge. Better not take any baths near an electrical outlet or get on any airplanes. AG Sessions and his deputy AG use the Comey trove of information to determine who has been part of the Comey syndicate at the FBI. They will be appointing an interim director of the FBI shortly who has not been compromised by Comey, Clinton or Obama. That interim director does not have to be approved by Congress or anyone, and can immediately begin cleaning house at the FBI of all Comey/Clinton/Obama minions, initiating investigations of the Clintons, Clinton Fund, violations of intelligence confidentiality laws by Susan Rice and Obama, human trafficking and political corruption. Draining the swamp. Using the Comey files they can be fairly certain they are not getting another Comey as an interim, and they do not have to wait for the circus of appointing a new permanent director through congressional approval. Most of the heavy lifting on rooting out FBI corruption and starting investigations into the swamp will be done by the interim before a new director is appointed. I suspect the Trump administration hopes the approval FBI director process will be slow and tedious, so there is no political interference with the house cleaning that is starting. In one masterstroke, Trump has eliminated a truly toxic and dangerous enemy to his administration and our country, dealt a horrendous blow to the Clinton/Obama and deep state machines, begun the restoration of the integrity of the FBI and the DOJ, and gained incredible ammunition to begin hunting the foul creatures in the swamp.
Thank you for listening. Please share and subscribe for more important updates.